大家好，今天很高兴，it's my honor and privilege to be here and to have a conversation with Phil, Linda, and Amy. And my name is Travis, but people always call me Big Bell. I am an independent podcaster and book writer and app designer, but why I'm here is because I am an Evernote super user. Yes. I've used Evernote for 5 years, nearly 5 years, and it's a long time, 5 years before Nokia is a big company. Yes. China is a mystery land, but now Chinese is the really big market for Evernote. So, by the way, I come from Yunnan. Do you know that place? 大家知道云南吧？ It's the southwest of China with gorgeous fruit and really beautiful landscape. Food is really tasty. And some of you may remember Chinese Evernote team once provide a ham for Evernote users. Do you remember that? 诺顿火腿.
Yeah.
Okay, do you remember that? Yes. I come from the same place as that ham. Okay. I'm not as famous as that ham, but that's really tasty. It's the best ham in the world. Look at my stomach. I'm telling you the truth. Okay. So let's just talk something about Evernote. Before that, we just make some small change. Of course, some of our friends just the first time came to China, and I want to ask you some questions. Why do you love Evernote? Can you tell something? What's the reason? Why do you love Evernote?
The color.
The color, green, right? Okay. Anybody? Change your life. That's with very high level. Yes, very good. Anything else? Sometimes it's free. It's always free, right? Yes. Always free. Okay. So we can talk something later because there are some free chat later. So let's just start with the conversation, and it's called the file side chat. There is no fire here. It's very hot outside, so fortunately. And at first, I'd like to ask something really, easy and just ice-breaking questions. It's about ice, so Phil, how's the feeling of Ice Bucket Challenge?
Thank you. It was a very hot day, so it wasn't as painful as it looked like. It was actually kind of fun to do.
Yes. So since a little fun, right?
It was.
Maybe we'll do it again in China sometime.
Probably
in the winter. Okay. Probably. That's a very, very, very good. And let's see. I'm a geek, so I'm really nervous to talk to beautiful ladies, but I have to. So, Phil, you got it, right? So it's a good chance to talk to Chinese users just in person. Of course, we are really curious about the first story, so the beginning of Evernote. Why do you create Evernote? Why do you start up this product and this company? Is there anything interesting you can share with us?
Sure. And by the way, thank you for using Evernote for 5 years. That's really amazing, and thank you for helping us with the conversation today.
That's my pleasure.
Really glad to meet you.
Yes.
So I didn't make Evernote. There was many of us that got started together. In 2007, there was 2 different teams of people that came together. And there was already at that point maybe 20 or so people involved, all in it together. So I consider myself as one of the co-founders, but there's many people that were there right from the beginning. that share in the idea.
Yes.
There was actually a group of people that was started by this famous Russian-American scientist named Stepan Hachikov. And he had a group of people that were working on the idea of human memory and handwriting recognition. And this was actually the team that went all the way back to, they created the Apple Newton 20 years earlier, 25 years earlier.
Too early.
Too early.
Yes.
It was a really advanced product, but it was way too early for its time. And they've been together for about 25 years working on this idea. And then I had a group of people in Boston, and we came together in 2007 to start the company. And there really wasn't a very original idea. We just thought we would use technology to help people remember things better. And in some ways, that's maybe the oldest idea in technology. It's what everyone's been doing forever.
Yes.
We just thought we could do it well. We thought we could build it for ourselves, and that's how we got started.
Wow, so we know that. We know the first story of everything. And in this afternoon, I've heard there are 100 million users. Wow, that's amazing. So Linda and Amy, so beautiful ladies again, yes. We're also curious about why do you choose to join Evernote? What's your story to choose a company like this? Do you have anything to share with us, Linda?
Sure. So I was living in Hong Kong. It was 2010, and I was working for Alibaba.com at the time, and I was traveling about 80% of the time for work. And I learned about Evernote through a friend of mine who was working for Symantec at the time. He told me about it and introduced me to Phil and a couple of other people in the company. I hadn't heard of the product, but I downloaded it and started playing with it. And given how much I was traveling, it was the best way for me to keep everything I needed with me, whether it was the presentation that I was giving or the travel arrangements or any of the documents that I needed for each one of these trips. And I traveled so much that it kind of became indispensable for me. So that's how I first learned about Evernote myself, and I became completely addicted to the product. So I was excited to be able to join the company in 2012 when I moved back to the United States.
Yes. How about you, Amy?
Yeah, so I was living in Beijing, still here, in 2011. I remember that's November of 2011 when TechCrunch was having, I think it's Disrupt here in Beijing, in the National Convention Center in the north. And some of I thought, was connected to the team. And when I heard about this, I was like really excited. At the time, I was like wandering around, was thinking about becoming like a VC. Sounds boring. And then I heard about this opportunity. I was like, it's so cool because I have been using it all the time, like on my PC and then phones and then iPad. So I remember I got like about 3 or 4 devices in my bag, when I got to say Phil and the other team members. And I was like, see, I use this everywhere on my devices. And I think the meeting went on very well. Phil just finished his speech on the stage. And then I think after that, after the conversation, I actually forgot what we were talking about, but after the conversation, I was very excited, like for the whole evening, that's afternoon. And then I was like, talking to my friends, like blah, blah, blah. It's like, I met this super team, and then they're so cool. I'm really excited about this. And then I think it's just something my heart told me that maybe that's it. Maybe I should just join. So I think that's like, story. It's like I followed my gut feeling to join Evernote. But then I think after I joined Evernote, and there's this one time we were having a meeting with Phil, and then someone was asking Phil, saying, "Hey, why you chose Amy to be the general manager of China?" And Phil gave me an answer that's kind of like really make me feel embarrassed. He was saying something, embarrassed, not really like embarrassed. He was saying something, so the first important criteria of looking for some good, capable general manager is just to find someone who didn't really speak good English. And I'm like,
it's very important.
But and then I figured it makes a lot of sense. But at that time I was like, I wish I can speak, much more fluent English. But yeah, that's it. I mean, that's the start of me down in Evernote. That's pretty cool.
That's the best choice ever. No, so maybe a lot of us have watched the video of Chinese Evernote team first come out, and it's really great because you can see the professional image of everybody. Yes, and let's talk something about workspace. Okay, all of us, everybody here are Evernote power user, a super user. So I think one question you really want to know: where's the free food? Okay, that's later. And the real question is how. Sorry. The real question is how, Phil, Linda, and Amy, how do you use Evernote in your daily life? Because we are users and we want to know how do you use that as a person.
I'm still thinking. Every day I get to the office and then I just open my Evernote and then start to work on it. And then I think for the whole day I probably have the Evernote on the laptop to open, to take notes, to kind of like remember my ideas, and then to look at what my other colleagues are doing in the Evernote business, and to collaborate with my coworkers on some documents or some presentations. So that's for the work life, and then so after that I probably go to dinner and then use my Evernote to check which restaurant I haven't tried yet, and go in there, and maybe back to home and I'll still open it and then write down some of the ideas I have in the day. Maybe there's some interesting creative ideas that I just want to remember, so I just put that down. So that's probably the day I use it. I probably just leave on it with all my ideas and all my works.
Yeah, for a whole day. Yes. How about you, Linda?
So my role is international and in scope. So I work a lot with our colleagues around the world, and 75% of our users are outside of the U.S. So we spend quite a bit of time and thought in how we work with offices all over the world. We have now 9 offices outside of the United States. And so I tend to use Evernote most of all to share notebooks with my colleagues in those different offices. So when I wake up in the morning, I can see what they've been working on, and we have immediate updates right there. And I can put information in there that they can then use when they come into the office. So it really helps with global collaboration so that we can kind of work across different regions and areas. Personally, I use it for everything, but a big part of what I use it for is I love to read. And so I use it to save articles or other pieces of information or book ideas, things that I want to save to read later. So I'll clip something from the web into Evernote if it's an article that I want to read, or I keep a list of books that I want to buy and consider reading later.
Well, I live in Evernote. I do everything in it. But more and more I've started using it in a very specific way that's really influenced our future directions. So a lot of the features that we're working on right now that are going to be coming out in the next few months are really easier ways to do some of the things that I've started doing in Evernote now. What I've really started doing with it is using it as a workspace. So I kind of see Evernote as similar to being in a startup office. Mm-hmm. Like when you're in a say a small company, let's say you have 10 people in a startup, and you're all in the same room. Mm-hmm. There's this wonderful experience where you kind of know what everyone is working on because you just see people right there. You see what they're working on, and you can talk to them very efficiently. But when you get bigger, you get to a few hundred people, and you have different locations. It's much harder to actually know what people are working on, and so you wind up having to set up too many meetings, and you spend a lot of time. Yeah. I've set up my Evernote, since we all use Evernote Business at Evernote, I've set it up so that I can see what other people are working on. So I come in every day and I see what different people have been doing in Evernote, in business notebooks, who's been making what kind of updates, what are the status of projects, and I use it to basically stay informed about what other people in the company are working on so that I can more effectively